NBC Sports, home of the Olympic Games, the NHL, the NASCAR playoffs, Notre Dame football, and Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football, only on NBC.
Feel it! It's going down! Sunday night, everybody watching!
Green Bay next, Sunday night, Foxborough, we're gonna need you, let's go!
I'm in a sweet spot, I'm feeling good. The sun is shining, I knew it would. The world's a playground, I'm in the clouds. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out.
When people say Tom Brady's better, they're liars.
Tom Brady's not the best quarterback? Shut your mouth. Of course he's the best quarterback.
You know, he's got 5 rings.
And he's got everything you want in a quarterback.
I'm on the big stage, I got my crew. I'll get you moving, it's what I do.
Stone's a big bomb.
The party starts, it's going down.
Kelsey's got it.
Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out.
A lot of talk about who the greatest is.
How could you pick against Tom Brady?
Who's Tom Brady?
What a matchup, what a night, 42 degrees, Foxborough, Massachusetts, between Boston and Providence, and a show on hand. We got the cheese heads, the chowder heads, and we've got 2 guys in the GOAT category. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers with that rare visit to Foxborough to meet the always styling Tommy. Tom Brady and the Patriots, 2 of the best we've seen head-to-head. We get to see it on Sunday Night Football. We'll get you set with Football Night in America. Hi, everyone. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Rodney Harrison. Gang is all here. We've got a lot to talk about with this one. And you think about the big-name quarterback matchups like Brady and Manning, which you guys participated in, has a little bit of a feel for that, and Tom Brady's familiar with what these games are like.
Yeah, he told me this is a special moment. He said this is something that he's really, truly embracing. You don't get many like this. But he also said that, you know, this is a very special game because as he's gotten a little older, he understands the magnitude of this.
Yeah, and I flashed back to 2004. I was coaching Peyton Manning. We played Green Bay. Brett Favre came in for the first time, and I could see Peyton elevate a little bit. That game was 800 yards passing, right. 9 touchdowns between them, and I think we're going to see a little bit of the same tonight.
Yeah, this is more like that because these guys only meet every 4 years, being in opposite conferences, unless, of course, there's a Super Bowl meeting out there. What are you looking for on the field tonight, Tony?
Well, everybody's going to focus on the quarterbacks, but to me, I'm going to look at the special teams. New England's been excellent on special teams. Green Bay, very average. They've got to pick up their game tonight.
What I'm looking for is Green Bay's improved defense. You look at their defense, and I think the biggest difference is they're faster. They're faster in the secondary, and I also like their mentality. Their mentality is different. They're aggressive. They're going to get in your face, play a lot of man-to-man coverage.
You always say that's the way to beat.
You have to do that in order to beat Tom Brady.
Well, their life got easier when the inactives came out a few minutes ago. No Sony Michel, the running back for New England for the 2nd straight game, and no Rob Gronkowski. Gronk inactive for the 2nd time in 3 weeks. Those are the headlines as we go to our headliners who are very well protected. Much like Brady and Rodgers are well protected, we're making sure that our guys can stand in the pocket and throw. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Liam McHugh. Hey, Liam.
Hey, Mike, that's right. No Gronk, but we've got the end zone militia. And that's how you start a show, isn't it?
I feel like a clay pigeon right about now.
But we talked about this, not just a game, and as we saw right here, it's an event, and it really feels that way.
You know, everybody's focusing, obviously, on the 2 quarterbacks, Rodgers and Brady. You know, 2 guys with a great sense of history. They love and respect the game. They're embracing the moment. You know, sometimes you have an event like this, and the superstars go, you know, they're making too much of it. These guys are helping us hype the game. You know, all I can do is go back to opening night this year. We're doing the Sunday night game in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is being taken off on a cart. We get to commercial. I look at Chris and I go, do you realize we're either going to have Deshaun Kaiser against Brady on November 4th, when it looks like Rodgers is done for the year, or we're going to be flexing out of this game? But we all know we all knew what happened that night. 20-point comeback. Rodgers, so many tremendous comebacks. Such a great career. Here we are on November 4th. We get what we want.
It's going to be awesome. It really is. We broadcast a lot of games together, but every once in a while you get that little buzz going pre-game, and this thing is really going to be special. And I think part of it is it's all the GOAT discussion, right? And, you know, GOAT on Tom Brady's side is 5 championships, and there you go. But GOAT on Aaron Rodgers' side, is that I even hear quarterbacks saying, I've never seen anybody do that before, right? You hear that conversation going on. Let's talk about a couple of the special things with these two quarterbacks. For Aaron Rodgers, for either one of these guys, what do you do against quarterbacks? Well, you blitz them. You got to get after them. You got to try to make them make a mistake. You do that, and they make you pay a heavy price. Both these guys see defenses. They see flaws on the defensive side so well, and they make you pay. What else do? They use motion to make you show what you have on defense. As a matter of fact, a lot of times these two guys will look away from where they intend to go with the ball. They'll use motion to distract, to go somewhere else. But time after time, game after game, these two guys have made defenses look silly. And why? Because they're telling them what they're going to do. It's like a great hitter in baseball. You tell them it's going to be a fastball, it's going to go out of the ballpark. Look at this. Against the blitz, first and second. Using motion, first and third in the National Football League. That's what makes this a battle for goatness, or whatever you would call this tonight.
A goat bowl.
A goat bowl, there you go.
Well, it's a big event, a huge matchup. The militia's moved out. They're ready to escort Al back to the booth. As for the fans, in anticipation, they've been here all afternoon and now into the evening at the Pepsi tailgate ahead of the Packers and the Pats on Sunday Night Football.
Number 12, Aaron Rodgers.
One of the slowest quarterbacks in the combine.
Can he overcome that lack of mobility? The sampling of his throws deep down the field just were not there. That doesn't project well to the National Football League.
He was skinny, slow. How in the world does Aaron Rodgers drop that far?
You know, Chris, earlier this week, Rodgers chatted with Mike Tirico, and he was talking about the chip on the shoulder from draft night. He said it was very real, but over time, that begins to fade, so you look for another challenge, the next challenge. And for him, he looked at Tom Brady, and now he was battling Father Time.
You know, the interesting thing about that, really for Tom Brady in particular, is that generally what goes first is your footwork, right? You get a little older, you're not quite as mobile, and yet what we've seen out of Tom Brady, what you'll see from him here tonight, watch his feet in the pocket. He does a lot of this. I mean, think of Muhammad Ali. I can't stick and move like Ali. I can't do that. But you'll see him do that, and then when he wants to throw the ball, he'll step. I mean, his footwork is perfect. 90% of the time, he's stepping right where it's going to go. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, now, if he's going to throw the ball to his left side, so here he goes, he's going to do the same thing, and he's going to step and make that throw. But if he throws from the middle to that sideline over there, you don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get this and that. You're going to get this and that and that and that and all kinds of different motions out of this guy. But if you're playing defense, how do you defend that? I mean, typically you say, all right, his feet go there, let's jump on it in a zone defense. But with this guy, it literally comes out at all angles, all different ways, and it's really tough to defend.
Your footwork's getting better as you get older.
I'm tired just doing that. Are you kidding me?
That was impressive.
That
was the segment that launched 1,000 gifts.
A little like Ali, don't you
think? Not bad. All right,
yeah.
For more on this matchup between these two great QBs, let's say hello to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, hey, Liam, we had a chance to sit down with both Brady and Rodgers in the last 48 hours and talked about their different styles of play. Brady told us he favors low-risk, high-reward plays and never likes to force his throws. In contrast, he said Rodgers never has to force a throw because of his ability to move. But since injuring his left knee in the season opener, Rodgers has thrown the ball away more than any quarterback in the league, and he told us that's because he's trying to protect that injured knee. But last night, Rodgers said he's feeling better, and he's beginning the conversation about when to get rid of the brace he's been wearing, one that's identical to this one, and he said he usually wins those conversations. And Mike Tirico, we'll see if he's wearing the brace tonight.
He says he's feeling a little bit better. We'll be looking for that. Michelle, thank you. And a welcome to those of you who just watched the Chargers beat the Seahawks in Seattle by 8 and watch Houston win their 6th straight, beating Denver. We're getting set for Brady against Rodgers. We've got highlights of not as great quarterbacks. Jets in Miami. There were great quarterbacks there.
There's 2 of them.
Name it the Marina. We could have used them. Sam Darnold, rough game. Jerome Baker, the linebacker with the pick. This is the only touchdown of the game.
Staring at his receiver.
Yeah, and Sam Darnold had an off day, Mike. There's going to be some of these days, but he's going to grow from this.
A career high, Tony. 4 interceptions. He's thrown 14, which is the most of any quarterback in the league. This was late, trying to keep the game alive. That was the story. This Jets offense has struggled the last 2 games. So in the AFC East, the Jets lose again. They're 3-6. And Miami, although not pretty, and that was the most entertaining part of the game, by the way, they're 5-4. At least they got a chance.
They're hanging in there, looking at wild card situation.
Yeah, they got a weak schedule. I'm not a big believer in the Miami Dolphins, but they have a chance.
They go to Green Bay next week. So Packer fans, after the Patriots this week, it is another AFC East team in Lambeau next Sunday. It's Foxborough tonight. The fans are ready, and a lot of green and gold. That's one of those bucket list games. See Aaron Rodgers playing Foxborough against Tom Brady on Sunday Night Football. Well, everybody is getting ready for 12 on 12 in the game that they play 11 on 11 on the field. Packers fans with the visit. Canadians fan in the house for some reason. And the Pats are ready to welcome Aaron Rodgers to town here on Sunday Night Football. The only previous starting meeting between these two, 4 years ago. Late in the season at Lambeau, Brady threw for 245, but Rodgers threw for 368. Both had a couple of touchdowns. Packers won by 5. That was the year they went to the NFC Championship and lost to Seattle, who lost to the Super Bowl champion Patriots. Mike McCarthy, the coach then, and the coach now going up against Belichick. Here he is with Liam.
Mike, coaches tend to block things out and just focus when it's game week. But as someone who just loves football, how much can you appreciate Rodgers against Brady?
I think this is going to be a great game for the fans. I think obviously to have, the 2 great quarterbacks on the field at the same time. But, we're focused on the game, obviously. But, yes, this is doesn't happen very often, and I think it'll be a great game tonight.
Because of the 2 quarterbacks, this has been called by many the GOAT Bowl. But Bill Belichick, considered by many one of the greatest coaches of all time. What's it like preparing to go against a Bill Belichick-led team? I'll
tell you, they've done it at such a high level for such a long time. So, but really, you've really got to focus on the things that we feel we need to do. This game's going to come down to the basics. It really is. We've got to be proactive with our adjustments. But we've had a great week of preparation. We feel good about the plan going into the game.
Mike, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, Liam, thank you. Championship coach in his own right. Chris Sims joins us here at the table. The quarterback position is your life. It's the family position, if you will. Chris, when we watch these guys, perhaps we don't even appreciate the small, nuanced stuff that they do at an extremely high level all the time.
Right. I mean, whether it's Brady and clutch moments, it's Aaron Rodgers and the unbelievable arm talent, the quick release, all the things they do. Yeah, let's not nitpick always about who's better. Appreciate the greatness both have and what they bring to the table. And Tom Brady, I think when you look at him at age 41 and what he's doing right now, it truly is unbelievable. Just standing in the pocket, the ability to make big-time throws in big moments. But here we are. We're going to go a game against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, are you kidding me here? 41 years old, off the back foot.
Guy right in his face.
In the face, throws the ball before James White is even out of his break, on the money, touchdown. Then you got Aaron Rodgers. Oh, people around you, it's the big bad Rams. Oh, it doesn't matter with Aaron Rodgers. Step up in the pocket. Let me just sling a sidearm throw 45 yards down the field, right on the money. It's sometimes you look at what they do and you can have the perfect defense call, this coach knows, and it just doesn't matter because they're so talented. And, of course, that puts a whole lot of pressure on you DBs there, Rodney.
Absolutely, and it's Stephon Gilmore. And he'll have his hands full tonight because he'll be facing Davante Adams. And they're going to use, the Patriots are going to use his size to get up to the line of scrimmage, jam him, play physical. But I think his biggest challenge is when the play breaks down, Davante Adams does such a great job of finding the opening in the zone. Right. He has to make sure he stays with him, Coach.
And for the Packers, their rookie cornerback, Jair Alexander, had a great game last week against Brandon Cooks, but guess what? He's going to be a target this week, too. Yeah. Every young guy I ever played against Tom Brady was always a target. Tom's going to look for Alexander tonight.
The Green Bay defense is getting better. They were young week 3 when they went to Washington and the Redskins beat them. Washington played Atlanta today. Let's get to the highlights of this one. In that game, Adrian Peterson had 120 yards on the ground. Today he only had 17. Ha-ha, Clinton Dix, the ex-Packer, is now a Redskin. Rodney, how about the blocking on this play?
Yeah, the Falcons coming off of a bye, and great block by Mohamed Sanu. Look at those fresh legs by Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman, 39 yards to the house. Atlanta almost had 500 yards. Washington's beat up on the offensive front. Atlanta's offense was strong. Julio Jones, a touchdown for the first time in 13 regular season games.
It's been a long time. He has to check with the official and see if he got in here, and then he can celebrate. But he's playing great for them.
He still knows how to do it. Atlanta's on a roll. Beware the Falcons, Tampa Bay, and Carolina. Christian McCaffrey here. This offense that's really getting creative, Chris.
It really is. They make you defend the whole field, and a lot of that is because of what Cam Newton does. It's the screens to McCaffrey. It's the power run game. It's the big throws down the field and the speed sweeps with Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore. Norv Turner has done a phenomenal job orchestrating an offense around Cam Newton.
But to me, this is the key to they're playing hard, they're playing physical, they're playing excited, they're just energetic about playing football. Look at all that blocking down the field.
They scored 99 points in the last 9 quarters, averaging 11 a quarter. That's pretty good, and Newton's got pretty good back in the saddle. Greg Olsen with the great catch. They were up big, held on to win, and Cam is confident because this tight end will catch anything he puts up there.
I'm a big fan of Greg Olsen. He's done so much for me, and I just know, when that ball goes in the air, he's coming down with it. It's a high percentage of the time. So I don't care if he wears sticky gloves, unsticky gloves, latex gloves, hospital gloves, small gloves, big gloves, kitchen gloves. He catch it.
We got love for the glove there, that's for sure. So that's 3 straight games since he came back from the injury with a touchdown for Greg Olsen. And you love what Norv Turner's doing from a scheme standpoint.
I want to go back to what Chris said. Norv Turner has a system, but he came in there and said, you know what, forget about my system. Here's what Cam Newton does well. I've got a running back that's versatile, can catch the ball out of the backfield. These receivers do different things. He is playing to the strengths of his offense, and to me, that's great coaching.
They're playing as a team and not as a bunch of great athletes together, and that's what I'm excited about.
And you saw that run. They've won 3 in a row. They play Pittsburgh on Thursday, a tough stretch of their schedule, and they are accelerating. Christian McCaffrey, Mike Florio, as we bring you in from Pro Football Talk, he's one of the reasons this Panther offense looks explosive.
Yeah, and he's got an increased workload this year, guys. Last year, he was averaging about 17 touches per game. This year, he's up around 20, and I asked him, how much is too much? He said, I don't think there's a workload that is too heavy for me, and we saw that hurdle in the highlights. I asked him, what's your thought process when you decide to go up and over a defender? He said it is all instinctive, but those instincts can betray a guy. I asked him, have you ever hurdled and have it fail? He took me back to 2016, Stanford against Oregon State, and he went for the hurdle, and it didn't quite work out. I told him, does that tell you maybe you shouldn't hurdle? He said, as long as I fall forward, I'm okay with it, guys.
I love what they're doing. Carolina's moving. Hey, they're putting the pressure on New Orleans. We'll see where the Saints end up. Those 2 teams play 2 of the last 3 at the end of the season. That could mean the NFC South. Washington, by the way, beat up on the offensive line. Some concern for the first-place Redskins. Yeah. We're heading towards Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady tonight. Both all-time talents, both native Californians, and in some ways, it's almost scary how similar they are.
As a kid playing in that backyard, I mean, who did you pretend to be?
I was Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Well, I was Joe Montana and Steve Young growing up, so those are my 2 favorite players.
I was a 49er fan, and I had both.
Being right-handed, obviously, I thought I was Joe.
What better for a kid to grow up in the Bay Area and watch those 2 guys?
The biggest moments, they wanted the ball in their hand.
This is Football Night in America, presented by Progressive.
What do you think makes a good ball player?
I don't know.
You don't know?
My starting quarterback from this past season, Tom Brady.
This is how legends are made.
Go on, go Victor.
I've got that lightning inside me.
Rodgers lets one go long. He's got a man down there. The view has been everything I've ever hoped and even more. It's going to be a great opportunity for me. A dream come true.
This is how legends are made.
That is some all-time archive stuff, including the lefty layup from Rodgers, basketball. That was pretty sweet. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, a little older and a lot better. We'll see them on Sunday Night Football coming up in about 46 minutes. Let's go back to the highlights. Was the Packers chasing the Bears in the NFC North. They were in Buffalo. Nathan Peterman, 4th career start. He didn't get any help. Trying to get to Jason Groom. Roquan Smith, the rookie, punches it out. Eddie Jackson takes it in.
It must be nice to create these turnovers and win football games when you don't have your best defensive player, Mike.
Buffalo today, 81 plays, 9 points, 4 turnovers. Trying to get to Zay Jones. It's tipped. Leonard Floyd with the pick.
Yeah, a couple of these were not Nathan Peterman's fault, but Chicago scored a ton of points without much offense, really.
Power from Jordan Howard. Right over Jordan Poyer on the score there. Khalil Mack's second straight game out. Didn't matter. Bears win big. Lions and the Vikings. Dalvin Cook is back, Roger.
Yeah, this is what he brings, a big playability. Hopefully they can keep him healthy. But anytime you give him the ball, Coach, he can go 60, 70 yards.
Went a long way there. 70 against this Lions defense. It's given up as many 40-plus yard runs as any defense in the league. Adam Thielen didn't get 100 today, but did get that touchdown for the 6th straight game he scores. Story of this game, Matthew Stafford under siege and Minnesota coming up big. And when he tried to flip it to make something happen, thank you, Danielle Hunter. I'll scoop it and score it.
Yes, and the Vikings defense does this. They create turnovers and did a great job today.
Hunter had a touchdown, and he had 3.5 sacks. He has 11.5 for the year, right up there at the top of the league list. Record 10 sacks for half a dozen guys in purple as the Vikings dominate a Detroit offense that was just awful. Big day for the defense of the Vikings, leading to the victory as Minnesota's starting to round into form as we now simplify the game presented by Microsoft Surface. And Rodney and Tony, I'm thinking back to last year and the team that made the NFC Championship off that Minneapolis Miracle and all that. The run this time of year was because of Mike Zimmer's defense. Starting to see some of that again.
Yeah, we are. And we saw those statistics. A lot of good individual rushes, but they also schemed up a couple of sacks against Matthew Stafford. This is one I love, Rodney. Harrison Smith, one of their best blitzers. He's going to fake like he's coming off this side. And watch what this does to Matthew Stafford. Says, oh, Smith's coming. Let me go over there, change the protection, get all the line going to the left. But he doesn't realize the pressure's coming off the right.
Yeah, let me just say this, Coach, about Harrison Smith. He makes a lot of big plays, but it's the little things that he does. Great disguise, but watch him walk back and fool Matthew Stafford.
He's going to go to the middle of the field. Mackenzie Alexander's coming. Matthew Stafford does not see it.
Excellent disguise.
Sack. And this is what Minnesota did all day. Individual pressures and great scheme.
Yeah, the Lions offense has lost its way. You see the standings here in the NFC North now at 5-3-1. Minnesota's there. Chicago ahead of them at 5-3. That's a lot of pressure on Green Bay. They've got to get it done here tonight.
And Minnesota's coming into a bye, and it's good because they're a little banged up.
So the Vikings rolling, the Bears rolling. Could be interesting in the NFC North. Will the Packers be a part of that story? A very tough game tonight in Foxborough. They're in the tunnel ready to get out in the field and get warmed up to try to stop Tom Brady and the Patriots on Sunday Night Football.
Simplify the game. Presented by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL. Football Night in America is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. By Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And by Microsoft Surface.
Aaron Rodgers, soccer player. Why not, right? There's Tom Brady taking the field. You know, so much talk about these two quarterbacks over the last few days. I went up to Green Bay and Rodney went up to Foxborough this week. We wanted to let them do the talking about one another. So here's Rodgers and Brady on Brady and Rodgers.
I say Tom Brady. What words come to mind? Champion. He's got 5 rings. It's pretty impressive.
Just spectacular.
Spectacular.
Yeah. You see all the quarterbacks play a certain way, and then you watch him, the velocity of the ball, the ability to run and throw on the move. He can get the places that no one else can get him into.
Rodgers peels out left, stands and looks and rolls and runs and throws it down the field, and it's caught.
Is there a specific play that makes you go, wow, about Brady? I think it's just a comeback against Atlanta.
The Patriots are down by the 28-3 score. Brady takes the snap, back pedals, fires left. Touchdown, Patriots! There's one.
There's an expectation when you get in those situations, he's going to get the job done.
Touchdown! And a title for the Patriots! I can't believe it!
When you get to that level, sometimes people forget how difficult it is, but he's done it so many times.
What have you learned from him?
I've watched a lot of their offense over the years. You know, he's got great poise in the pocket. He moves incredibly well. He uses his blockers so well, and he must have great peripheral vision.
We both try to copy each other, I think. I heard him using a cadence that sounds pretty similar to mine. And I know he switched up his feet in the shotgun, but I've definitely stole some stuff from him for sure.
Like what?
Well, pocket movement.
There's no throw that he sees on the field that he doesn't think he can make.
And Janis, does he stop it? What a catch! That's insane!
This week you called Aaron Rodgers an inspiration. What did you mean by that?
The style of play and the way that I watch him move and throw, it makes me want to get on the practice field and try new things.
Well, I appreciate that from Tom. I mean, I've teased Tom over the last couple of years about how mobile he's been. He scored a rushing touchdown the other night.
Brady runs for an end zone touchdown, diving for a TD.
I talked to him at one point. I said, well, you know, when you're looking in there and you think about running, he goes, no, I just see the coverage, and once I know the coverage, I know I'm going to run. I'm like, man, that thought has never gone off in my head one time.
There's a minute left on the clock. If Green Bay's up 1 score, and Tom's going out on the field. Stop him. Stop him. Man, get a pick, strip sack, let's go.
You have the lead, but Aaron Rodgers has the ball. What's going through your mind?
I'm worried. I'm worried because I've seen him do it too many times.
Caught for a touchdown, and the Packers have won.
Now, is there a little extra something there because it's Aaron Rodgers?
He's going to bring it, and I'm going to bring it, and let's see where it goes.
It's great for the fans, but ultimately it comes down to our offense against their defense and vice versa.
It's where you measure where your team's at against other great teams. These are the games that you remember.
They were both so giving and so cool in that conversation. You can hear much more. Matter of fact, the entire interview of Rodney with Tom Brady, it's about 15 minutes. And same for my sit-down at Lambeau with Aaron Rodgers, NBCSports.com if you want to watch all of that. For those of you who just came in during that feature, and those of you who just watched Drew Brees and the Saints knock the Rams from the ranks of the unbeaten. Talking about great quarterbacks, like Brees' performance today. These two guys who we're going to see on Sunday Night Football. Rodney, let's talk about what we talked about with them. You've known Tom for 15 years. You found him to be refreshingly candid in this conversation.
It was awesome, man. It was just a wonderful time spending that moment with Tom, and it's probably the most honest that I've ever seen Tom Brady. I asked him about, playing against Aaron Rodgers, and he said, hey, I have to raise my level of play. He didn't give me the company line saying, hey, it's not about the two quarterbacks, it's about the team. He was really excited, and he embraced the opportunity and challenge of playing against Aaron Rodgers, Mike.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was asking Aaron about their personal relationship. And Aaron said, they see each other at the Kentucky Derby every year. Aaron bumped into Tom for the very first time in Cabo when they were playing golf and ended up playing a round of golf with a guy who he looked up to and idolized because Brady was a champ at that point. He's been out to Tom's place in California. Tom's chef made him dinner, realized, hey, I've got to start eating the way Tom does for that whole longevity thing. So they were very honest about the admiration they have for each other. What about the drive? Because the chip on the Brady shoulder from being picked in the 6th round, that still fuels him, just like Rodgers was fueled being passed over when he was the #1 pick and wasn't, because everybody said he was going to be, and he was taken 24th.
Well, he told me 15 years ago, he said that's what motivated. I'm sitting there having lunch with him, and he says, I'm still a 6th-round draft choice, from the University of Michigan. But he also told me this past time when I interviewed him, he said, that's not what really motivates me. What really motivated me was I was a freshman on an 0-8 team, and I couldn't beg. I could not even get on the football field. He said, at that point, I knew, now they all of a sudden, they want to kick me out of the game. He said, forget about that. I'm having fun right now playing.
It's amazing. Generations later, what still fueled these two greats. So let's talk about on the field and the issues, Tony and Chris, that they provide for opponents, especially what we'll see tonight.
Yeah, two fantastic quarterbacks, but for me, they gave me different problems practicing for them.
I bet.
For Tom, it was always what happens before the snap.
Right.
You have to disguise, can't let him know what you're doing. With Aaron, it's what happens after the snap and extending the plays, and we're going to take a look at that and show you what we mean. This is a red zone play against Chicago, and it looks like man-to-man coverage. Normally, this middle linebacker would have James White, but they're going to try to use him to double Edelman. But the problem is he gives it away. He should be over here. Tom knows right now he's not covering him. This defensive end is going to cover him, and he knows where his mismatch is. So he lets the motion go, lets everything play out, uses his eyes, but he knows right now this is where he's going, and no way that defensive end can handle James White because of what he saw pre-snap, that linebacker being a half a step off. touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown. Best before the snap there ever is or ever was with Tom Brady. And then you talk about Rodgers. What he does after the snap is amazing. I mean, you have to tell your pass rushers, stay in their lanes. You got to tell DBs, hey, you're going to have to cover a few extra seconds as he buys time and dances around. And then he's going to find a way to throw some 20, 30-yard laser down the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how both coaches defend both quarterbacks.
And we love how both of them said they watched the other guy. They've incorporated some of the best of into theirs. So you see the full display from both Rodgers and Brady tonight. Aaron out there warming up without that knee brace, like Michelle Tafoya hinted in the pregame earlier. Their matchups ahead, so are highlights of some other big quarterbacks like Breeze and Big Ben. Stay tuned.
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are two good quarterbacks, two very, very good quarterbacks. So let's look at some of the basic numbers. Completion percentage, 64.9%, 64.0%, 1.5 versus 1.8, 6.3, 5.6, 7.9 versus 7.5. They're very close, almost identical.
Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback.
No question about it.
Tom Brady.
He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time.
We have the win percentages for each quarterback. Tom Brady, he's won 77.4% of his games. Aaron Rodgers is only 64.9% of his games.
Aaron Rodgers is way better than Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is weird.
Shut your mouth. Of course he's the best quarterback. He's got the best looking wife. He's got the best of everything. He's Tom Brady.
Average net yards per attempt, or to his friends, Anya, passing yards, 20 points for every touchdown.
Completions per passing attempt, yards per attempt, touchdowns per attempt.
But then a negative for interceptions and another negative for yards lost on sacks.
Put them into this formula over here, divide by 6, multiply by 100.
Tom Brady, only 7.8. Aaron Rodgers, 8.45. Much better than Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's very handsome. I like his style.
Aaron Rodgers is definitely better looking. He's got a cute butt.
That is, of course, from my perspective.
Statistically speaking, Tom Brady is the better quarterback.
And that, to me, is the best evidence we have that Aaron Rodgers is the greater of the two quarterbacks.
You got all that? We go to the college professors to break down the old sturdy golden bear from Cal, Aaron Rodgers, and the ultimate Michigan man, Tom Brady. We'll see them on Sunday Night Football. 28 minutes till the festivities begin. We go back to the highlights in Kansas City and Cleveland. First firing of the NFL. Hugh Jackson out. Greg Williams in, coaching the Browns. Hey, get your defense to stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And Kareem Hunt, the Cleveland native, had a big day.
Yeah, to me, he's the key to the offense. He's fresh, he's strong, he's very difficult to bring down.
Had Baker Mayfield do 297, a couple of touchdowns, a pick. Duke Johnson, the 19-yard touchdown. Remember, Todd Haley, offensive coordinator, fired. Freddie Kitchens, the new OC. They were aggressive. They went for 2-3 times.
Yeah, a couple of times too many, in my opinion.
They missed all 3.
Kick the points.
Mahomes. I mentioned Cleveland native Kareem Hunt. Travis Kelce from that part of Ohio as well.
Look at this ball placement, Mike. This is what makes Patrick Mahomes special. He has confidence in his receivers, but he can put it exactly where he wants.
Said that all day today when we were watching this game.
And he was right. And we kept seeing Kareem Hunt go into the end zone. 3 touchdowns on the day. Kansas City 8-1, tied for the best record in the NFL. Here's Houston and Denver. Remember the 0-3 start for Houston? They had an injury last week. They got Demaryius Thomas from Denver. And where's his first game? Back in Denver. Here's the welcome back at the start of the game. 31 yards here, 61 on 3 grabs for the game. Denver would trail by as much as 10. Going to take it to the fourth quarter. The Houston leads to a big play here. 1st and 15, Deshaun Watson. Nobody holds in the end zone. He makes a first down.
Looked like it was going to be a safety, just making those creative plays. That's what he's brought.
They didn't score, but they chewed a lot of time. So Denver gets back. Case Keenum picked up multiple 4th downs on this drive. They're alive on the pass to Emmanuel Sanders. 3 seconds left. Brandon McManus missed from 62 before the half. Here to win from 51? No. And the Houston Texans, who started 0-3, are now 6-3. First team to do that since the 1970 Giants, and they have 3 more wins than anybody else in the AFC South.
I'm just looking at Deshaun Watson, and he's just a completely different quarterback than what he was week 1. He's playing with a lot of confidence. He's making smart decisions. I like Houston moving forward.
Yeah, and you know who's fresh, too? Those defenders. J.J. Watt and Clowney showed up today.
And they hit the bye at 6-3, so exciting times as Houston has turned around a real dismal start to its season. Highlights of some of the big games, including the big one in New Orleans coming up, as we head to the really big one in Foxborough with the Patriots and Packers on Sunday Night Football.
Welcome to Hyundai's Sunday Night Kickoff.
A lot of talk going on these days about who the greatest ever is. Who has the titles, the raw talent.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
I get it. It's a tough call.
The greatest comeback led by the greatest quarterback.
I'm still trying to be that. Always trying to take to the next level.
And here comes Rodgers.
It's about being an expert at what you do. The moment is never too big for you.
Aaron Rodgers has done it again.
It's been fun to watch. He's done some incredible things. Everyone looks at him and tries to emulate things that he does, even though a lot of them are impossible to do.
Stop it! Oh, please!
What an honor that is to be mentioned with Tom. That is true greatness, and that's what Tom has done, and that's what the rest of us are all trying to do.
There are stars and there are superstars.
The best way to settle this debate is to play it out head to head.
So Jordan understands the significance, and one of the great things about tonight's matchup, both men recognize just how special it is. Two masters at their craft, two generational talents. And for both of these quarterbacks to be so good for this long means that they must continue to get the most out of their weapons, even as their weapons continue to change. So this week, we begin On Field Live, presented by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL, with Josh Gordon. For the Patriots, he's their newest and potentially their most dangerous piece in their offense. And while he's shown flashes of elite talent, the biggest question for Gordon is, can he be the game breaker he was just a few seasons ago? If not, Rodney, and with Gronk out, you got to figure Brady, he's going to keep leaning on James White and Julian Edelman.
Yeah, those are Brady's two favorite targets, Liam. And the key is they have to find that third guy outside of them to make a contribution, whether that's Josh Gordon, whoever that is, they have to expect a lot of double coverage.
Well, it's not Sony Michel because the running back's out for the second straight game. So, Tony, maybe it's the role Cordero Patterson plays tonight.
I see him playing a lot. He played a little bit in the backfield on Monday night. I think they can put him in, toss in the ball, give him some basic running plays, but then use him on the quick screen game. That's a way to replace the running game that's missing from Sony Michel.
He had 10 carries last week.
Yes.
Rodney, let's flip it over to Green Bay. The weapons for Aaron Rodgers, including Devontae Adams.
Yeah, the Patriots have a lot of respect for this guy. He has great chemistry with Rodgers, especially when the play breaks down. He does a great job of really finding that open, and a lot of his big plays happen when Aaron Rodgers is extending the play.
You know, people move the ball down the field on the Patriots, got to score in the red zone. That means Jimmy Graham's got to step to the table tonight.
Rodney always talks about that red zone defense by the Patriots. Graham is a big target. He's the mismatch down there. Not as fast as he used to be, but he can be the factor inside the 10-yard line.
The guys to watch on offense tonight with the Rodgers-Brady matchup. 19 minutes away from Sunday Night Football. Back to the highlights. It's Pittsburgh 4-2-1. Baltimore 4-4. This great rivalry. Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson's there.
No, he's wide open. He's not even looking at him. Give him a chance, Joe. Look
at the double coverage.
Yeah, everybody kind of saw it.
Feel your
the guy who
pain,
needed
Don.
to. Steelers didn't have that issue. Down 3 early. Roethlisberger, James Conner.
Great design. Picked by Vance McDonald. They picked the linebacker who's got him, gets him into the end zone.
Is that legal?
That is on the borderline.
It was there. 7 touchdowns.
Didn't get called.
Hey, guys, it's a 7-point game. All of Western PA gets concerned. It's Roethlisberger scrambling. Zadarius Smith takes him down hard on the right shoulder. He's going to come back eventually, but who comes in for his 3rd career snap? Last year's 4th-round pick.
Josh Dobbs, this was a big play. Mike Tomlin had confidence to let him throw a ball and get him out of the hole.
The kid from Tennessee got it done with his first career pass. It kept the drive going. Roethlisberger comes back in, and he finds Jesse James.
And Brandon Carr has to know better than this. When Ben comes back in, if he's in shotgun, if it's a pass, you know it's something tricky. He's not hurt.
The Ravens have lost 3 in a row. The Steelers are rolling. They play Carolina on Thursday night. A good matchup there. Good matchup here. Chargers 5-2. Seahawks 4-3. It's Rivers against Wilson. Rivers' 200th straight start. His team was up 9, and Russell throws a pick 6. Desmond King takes it back. And in Seattle, it's the Chargers up 15. Going up 16? No. Caleb Sturgis has missed 10 kicks in 6 games this year. It keeps it a 15-point margin. That's important because Wilson's coming back. Inside of the 2-minute, Nick Van Nett, the tight end. Now it's an 8-point game. Wilson got the ball back here, Tony. Is going to try to keep it going down at the end with Tyler Lockett in the end zone.
Yeah, and this is a good call. He puts it up for Lockett. Defender doesn't play the ball, doesn't get his eyes around pass interference.
Pass interference, no time. There's a false start, so an untimed down for David Moore has been red hot in the end zone. Just deflected away. And the Chargers have won 5 in a row. Rivers wins that 200th straight start.
Just that little tip took it so that Moore couldn't handle it.
Big difference. So here's the Chargers, guys. You know, we're talking about the Chiefs, and we should. They're 8-1. They keep rolling. The Chargers only one back in the loss column. Play them later this year. Are the Chargers good enough?
I think the Chargers, actually like the Chargers more than I like the Chiefs, because I think the Chargers are more of a complete team. They have an experienced quarterback. They have some really good young defensive players. And I love their running back, Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, and they're doing this all without Joey Bosa, who's their best defensive player. If they can get him back, I think they can do something special.
And he's supposed to be, you said Chargers over Chiefs right now.
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure I heard that.
Just more complete team.
All right, I believe
I'm not going that far.
Well, let's go to the game of the day. The big buildup with the Rams and the Saints in New Orleans. The Rams undefeated. The Saints one loss, and Drew Brees and Jared Goff leading those high-octane offenses. Alvin Kamara, 3 touchdowns in the first half.
And he was special all day long. He did this. He set the tone. Here's 4 defenders. Somehow he gets through. Just that determination. He showed it all game long.
As we started watching this game, guys, together, it was score, 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 score. Here's Gurley.
Nice vision, getting to the end zone, using the speed.
First 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. It's 14-14. Mark Ingram fumbled. Rams got it. They didn't get a touchdown. They're going for the fake. They're always good here. Johnny Hecker, lean it, reach it. Did he get the first down? Ruled no. Challenge. The review, they couldn't turn that one over. So the Rams kill the momentum.
And this is what the Rams do, though. They take shots like that.
And the Saints come back.
Oh, sneaky Ben Watson, one of my former teammates. I used to see this a lot in practice, Mike.
He's still going. They scored 21 in a row to jump out on top. Watch Goff looking for Robert Woods. Alex Anzalone, linebacker, makes a great play here.
Beautiful play.
And this is what you need in a game like this. There aren't going to be many plays you're going to make against these offenses. When you have a chance, you've got to do it.
Yeah, that led to the Kamara touchdown. It was 35-17 at the break. Rams got a key field goal right before halftime, then took that momentum into the third. What a move here by Malcolm Brown.
That's not Todd Gurley, Mike?
No, it's not. It's Malcolm Brown for 18.
Kept his feet in, got inside the pylon, and got him back in the game.
Now 35-24. Remember, Cooper Kupp was out. Dad used to be a Saint. He was a team captain today. Goff finds him. It's 41 yards, and all of a sudden, the Rams are right back in it.
Down and 1. What a great aggressive call by Sean McVay.
The 2 tied the game, but the Saints get a field goal and Breeze to Michael Thomas, who was the man. He's gone for 72, a franchise record, 211 yards.
And Michael Thomas ate up Marcus Peters all day long.
Well, when he wants to tell somebody about it, he's going old school, complete with the flip phone, going back to Joe Horn. If you don't remember, a Sunday night game in December 2003, Joe Horn had a franchise record at the time, 4 touchdowns, flip phone and made the call.
That's Bob.
The Saints answered
Joe
the
said,
call.
hey, Marcus.
45-35 with the win.
Michael, good job.
Hey, when you're playing a big game against a team that's undefeated, your big names need to do it. Breeze, 4 touchdowns. Kamara, $116 and 3 scores. Franchise record for Michael Thomas and Mike Florio. No one is undefeated in the NFL.
Yeah, you know, last week we saw the Saints against the Vikings, Chris. They didn't need much offense, so they didn't have much offense. Today they needed offense, and when they need offense, the Saints can generate offense anytime they want.
Yeah, a sign of a good team is they can win a lot of different ways. And, of course, with the weapons they have in Kamara and Michael Thomas, that's where it started with today. Michael Thomas, you want to leave him on an island with Marcus Peters, whoever it may be. Drew Brees and Sean Payton don't care. They're going to find a way to win that matchup, make big plays, and then, okay, you start going, well, we got to worry about Michael Thomas and stop with that. Alvin Kamara out of the backfield is as good as it gets. How many on-point throws did we see today from Breeze to Kamara out of the backfield, and then their power run game as good as it gets in football? That's the awesome thing about the Saints. They've showed us the ability to win a lot of different ways, and that's why I like watching them. You know what I haven't done? I haven't hit you today.
Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. See, I'm just going to keep going. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. The guy at the center of it all, Drew Brees. We got 2 GOATs tonight. I think there may be another guy that says, don't forget about me. I've had a pretty good career, too.
Deserving of the conversation.
What did I tell you last week about the Rams?
You said you didn't like their defense.
What you got to say about that?
Well, I'll say this. The Saints, this was a big win because now they have one loss each, and they've got the tiebreaker.
The head-to-head.
The Saints are so good at home. If it comes down to that, being the playoff
offense
game
protects them and hides all their deficiencies.
Yeah, their defense does look a little better. I was doubting you, too, about the Rams, but you were right today.
Look like this, Mike.
One game.
Saints looked like in that first half they were awesome. So
They lost one game.
We'll continue our conversation up here as they get back to the tunnel. Belichick, Edelman, and the Pats getting set for Rodgers and the Pack on Sunday Night Football. Well, you make that decision, and only every 4 years do you have to worry about being on opposite sides. It's the Patriots and the Packers. Carrie Underwood in about 9 minutes. Sunday Night Football will get you set for one of the best matchups. Let's get you to the Best of Week 9 presented by Verizon, the best network with the best unlimited. Guys, let's take everyone around to Tampa and Carolina. And Christian McCaffrey, who told Mike Florio earlier today, he's done this before in his Stanford days. A little bit of a hurdle.
I definitely don't like to see him hurdle anybody. I mean, I think eventually it's going to catch up to him, but he's been tremendous, Mike.
22 and 22 touches, had a solid day. Cam Newton to Greg Olsen.
Yeah, and Greg Olsen is back healthy. We see Cam Newton going to him now.
Panthers are 5-0 at home. They play Pittsburgh on Thursday night. Hey, the Falcons won 3 in a row. Matt Ryan's back. He threw for 350. 4 scores. Julio.
He's got an end zone, Mike.
That's right. First touchdown this year. Washington a loss, and they got beat up on the offensive line. Concern for the leaders of the NFC East. The Bears ran 46 plays and scored 41 points because their defense got it done.
Who needs offense? Who needs to score on defense?
2 defensive scores. The woes continue for the Bills and Nathan Peterman. They're 2 and 7. All about the defense for Minnesota today. They sacked Matthew Stafford 10 times and trying to make something happen. He and Kerryon Johnson were on the wrong page. Danielle Hunter was on the right side of this one. Is 11.5 sacks, including 3.5 today, and that score. Vikings win by 50. They've won 4 of 5. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, the great rivalry. Pittsburgh answers back, the road team winning each one this year. AB gets in the end zone for the 5-2-1 Steelers. Kansas City kept it rolling. Mahomes again.
Yeah, and they just have so many things that they do. Screen game, multiple passes. They're just playing great offense.
He's the key to their offense. I think he's the key.
I agree with you.
Cleveland native Kareem Hunt, who had 3 touchdowns for the 8-1 Chiefs. This was a good one. Houston and Denver. Houston winning their 6th straight. DeAndre Hopkins, the 16-yard score. Chance to win for the Broncos. Brandon McManus missed from 62 earlier, missed from 51 there. 6 in a row for the team that started 0-3. Also in a late one and a good one. In Seattle, Desmond King, the pick 6 of Russell Wilson, and the Chargers were up 15 with 7 minutes to go. Seattle, though, fosters a big comeback.
Always fight back, and with Russell Wilson, you're never out of it.
Last play there, trying to find it in the back of the end zone.
Got to make that catch.
Ball was slightly tipped. The Chargers have won 5 in a row. And in the big one, the Rams and the Saints, Michael Thomas, the star of the day.
Yeah, he was on fire. They tried to use Marcus Peters on him. It was a
Just
mismatch.
double cover him.
There's too many other guys.
No, he's the guy.
Well, he's like Joe Horn back in the day, 15 years later, going to the flip phone for the message to everyone that it was a win for the Saints and knocks the Rams from the ranks of the unbeaten. One thing stick out for you guys today? Any team that you say wow about as you watched it?
The Los Angeles Chargers. I really believe that they're better than Kansas City. I think they're a more complete team. Phillip Rivers, he's experienced, and they're going to need that once the playoff scenario or the playoff run happens.
And I have to say the Saints, we saw how dangerous they are. Drew Brees, if you can't get pressure on him, especially in that dome, you can forget it.
And now we turn our attention to the big one tonight with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. All the hype from these two guys. And the joy of this matchup, instead of saying, oh, it's not about us, they were willing to talk about each other because they know that the stage is rare that they are on. 2 of the best head-to-head tonight.
Follow my lead today. Who's going to be the big dog with me? Let's go!
What Tom has done and done so well, that motivated me for a number of years.
I played against Hall of Famers. You see the best, and that's what you aspire to be every day.
He's a phenomenal player.
Just spectacular.
I'll watch that.
It was cool because we got to ask them about that Michael Jordan promo that's been airing during the week. And Aaron Rodgers grew up a Jordan fan. And Tom Brady said, well, I didn't even know they were talking about us. He thought he was talking about LeBron and Michael. You said when you went up to Foxborough to talk to Tom this week, you felt like you want to go back out and play again.
Oh,
Why?
my goodness, Mike. He had me so pumped up and so fired up because he was just so passionate about, having an opportunity. And typically he would give me the company line, hey, it's not about us, it's about the team. No, he said he's embracing this opportunity. He said, you don't get many opportunities to play in a game like this. He's really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And coaching against these two guys so often, they do everything well, but different problems. When we went against Brady, it was always our practice focused on disguise. You can't let him know what you're in. So disguise, disguise, disguise before the snap. With Rodgers, it's after the snap, and we used to have to practice plaster, and you know what that means. That means the play is being extended. You got to find your guy, get on him, and don't look back for the ball. You don't know how long that ball is going to be before it's in the air.
When I look at the Patriots offense, they have injuries at the running back position. So I anticipate them to come out with a game plan where they're slinging the ball around 40 to 50 times, the quick swing, the quick swing routes and those type of get the ball out of Brady's hands quickly. I can expect them to pass the ball 40, 50 times, and they've done it plenty of times before.
Now, you guys both were a part of the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning matchups. We talked about that over the years. Can a matchup like this that's talked about all week elevate the players on the team, a crisper practice, a really important week that they can feel as well?
Well, I think the two quarterbacks actually elevated. They want because they know they have to be perfect to beat the other guys, so they get everybody else going.
If I was in that locker room and all week I heard about the two quarterbacks, it would get me upset because I'm like, hey, it's not just about the quarterbacks, it's about us too.
All right, time now for tonight's picks. Brought to you by Subway Restaurants. So we've talked all this about Rodgers. Is anybody going to pick against the Patriots in Foxborough? I'm not, and by the way, I'm in first place. So Liam and I are going to go with the Patriots. I just
had to throw that in, right?
Hey, look, it's in the standings there. Mike, what do you think?
Patriots with this caveat, do not let Aaron Rodgers hang around. We've seen it twice in primetime this year. He will come back and beat you. Now, in honor of Election Day, we took a vote to put you on the graphic. You lost.
Damn. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, you're the greatest I've ever seen. But they're going to lose. I can't pick against the Patriots at home in this matchup. I think they keep it close, but the Pats win.
It's going to come down to defense or special teams making a key play, and that's the Patriots.
Yep. I like the Patriots special teams as well. I think they make a big play to win it.
Well, you get all the build-up. You hope the show is just as good. Usually these guys never let us down, and we will see what happens tonight. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, two of the best, starting against each other for just the second time. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya bring it to you. We're going to sit back and enjoy it. Hope you do as well. Sunday Night Football coming up from Foxborough here on NBC.
This has been Hyundai's Sunday Night Kickoff.